obviously I stand out. People know I'm American. Actually, some people think I'm Canadian because I'm so pale. And it's obvious I'm not from the Dominican Republic, and as a result, people, not everyone, but some people try and take advantage of that. So here are 5 things that I've learned over the past 4 years living here in the Dominican Republic.
Hello, hola, it's Yanni and Kayla. Hola, hello from the DR of Buffalo.
Not every situation is going to be one where someone would take advantage of me and charge me more than they would charge someone from the Dominican Republic. The times that I have been charged more for something have been with a moto taxi, a taxi in Santo Domingo, the capital, at a market where they sell fruit and things like that, at a Comado, which is kind of like a store, like a small store, like a corner store, I guess, like a convenience store, and Uber too. Part of me understands why people charge me more, because I do have more money than many people. There are many Dominicans who are far richer than I am, but there are also a lot of people who have less than we do. I get that they want money. I get that they see an opportunity. They think that I have extra money to give away, and that's kind of their thinking behind it. They don't mean to steal my money. They don't mean to be unfair. They literally, most of them just are trying to make a living, and I get that. But at the same time, there's this other part of me that is very annoyed by it because I'm not a tourist. I live here. This is my country now. My husband is Dominican, and it bothers me when people take advantage of him too because of me. So I see both sides to it. But anyway, the first thing that I've learned is to be recognizable. Like, I've been here for 4 years. So it's finally gotten to the point where people recognize me and they don't think I'm a tourist anymore. And they charge me the amount that they should be charging me, or the amount that they charge everybody else. It has become easier over time. And just today, I was on my way home from the store, and I got a moto because Mariano's out of town for the week. He's translating. I don't like taking moto taxis on the way back from the store for the reason that they do charge me more sometimes. And the cost right now is 75 pesos for a ride, and we are very close. So technically I feel like it should be 50, but whatever. So today, the guy who drove me home, he said, "Oh, I think I know where you live." And I was like, "Oh, you do?" And he was like, "Yeah, it's the street over here." I was like, "Oh, okay." So I don't know if he's given me a ride before or if he just knows where I live. I feel like a lot of people in San Pedro know where I live, which kind of makes me a little nervous. But I have been here for 4 years and nothing has happened. We haven't even been robbed. So far, nothing has happened. The second thing that I've learned is to ask Dominicans how much something should cost. So my friend and I were in the capital for the day, and we wanted to take a taxi from the Caves, which is a tourist spot to begin with, to the bus stop back to San Pedro, which is where we live. It's about a 10-minute taxi ride at the most, even in traffic. So I asked the workers, "Hey, how much should this ride cost?" And they said 200 pesos, 300 pesos at the most. So when the taxi said, "Hey, it's going to be 800 pesos, I was like, "Yeah, no. The workers over there told me how much it cost. I am not a tourist. I live here. It does not cost 800 pesos. He still was going on and on and on about the traffic, that there's traffic. That's why I was like, no, it's not 800 pesos. Don't do that. And so he finally did go down to, I don't know, 400 maybe, 450. And my friend who was paying, she's like, "I'll just pay it. It's fine." So at least we didn't pay 800 pesos. But yeah, that does happen a lot, especially if I'm with my parents or I'm with someone who's not Dominican. They will charge me way too much for a taxi. So I've learned to ask around to see how much things should cost. And I do that other places too, at the Comado as well. I'll know what something should cost. And so if they say a price that's way too much, then I'll just say, "No, I don't want that." And I'll go look for it somewhere else. The third thing that I've learned is that there are some situations where I need to ask a Dominican to just go and buy the thing for me. For example, if Mariano and I want to buy a car, he is going by himself, or he'll go with his brother. I am not going with him. And also Mariano will go places by himself first. So he'll go to the mechanic without me, and then he'll get a sense for how much things cost. And then later on, if he takes me with him, then they can't really charge him more. And if they do, he'll know, and he'll just avoid that place. Like the Colmado. There was a Colmado by our house that was charging Mariano a certain price, like 50 pesos. And then they saw me with him one day, and then they changed the price to like 75 pesos. And that really bothered me because they're not taking advantage of me. They're now taking advantage of their own people. And that made me mad. I was about to go down to that Colmado and speak my mind, but I didn't. We just don't go there anymore. The fourth thing that I've learned is to always carry change with me, like 50 pesos or 100 peso bills, because there was a moto taxi once that took my 100 pesos when I asked for change and just left, like drove away. So I learned the hard way to bring change. I just got back from putting minutes on Mariano's phone, and I brought a 500 peso bill with me so that they would give me all hundreds or 50s and change so I can have that for motor rides back from the store. Because normally I like walking. I don't mind walking, but if I'm at the store and I have a lot of bags, then I kind of have to take a moto. But today, I didn't have change, and I asked the moto for change, and since he already knew where I lived, he knew that I was not a tourist, he actually gave me change. So that was the first. That was literally the first time a moto has ever given me change when I've asked for it. But also, I need to keep my bill and hang on to it and listen to what they're saying first. But that didn't even work because the taxi said he was going to give me change, and then he took my bill, and then he said never mind, and then he just drove away. So always bring change with you. And number 5, I personally avoid Uber because every time I try and go between cities with Uber, they try and charge me way more. It's like they'll send me a message. They'll say, hey, I want this much in pesos. I want it in cash. I don't want it through the Uber app. But then I have to pay the amount that is in the Uber app plus whatever cash they want. And that's happened every single time. So I don't use Uber. I have students who do it in the capital, like just within the capital, but they're Dominican, so they said it's fine just within one city. I don't know, I haven't tried it within one city, but they definitely do that, where if you're going a long distance, they will try and get more than what it says in the app. And it's definitely cheaper than a taxi, but it's still kind of expensive. We just have friends who drive us to and from the airport, and we just avoid that altogether. So yeah, the longer I live here, the less I get taken advantage of, which is good. And I'm learning, and my Spanish is getting better. So if you have any other suggestions, let me know. That's all. Peace out.
I'm doing fine. So ease your worried mind. Sit back and close your eyes. Yeah, this land is a paradise, and the people are so very nice. I'm happier than I've ever been in my